This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
You know how sometimes the first play of the game can be a real tone setter?
Aussie.
Yeah, I basically just went with Ashton Jen Teabag.
NFL.
He's not a walking 7 for 70 as I learnt last week when he went 1 for 5.
Fantasy.
I'd probably lean towards taking Henry maybe ahead of McCaffrey just because of what I've seen.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Loading.
Australia's premier NFL fantasy football show is back for the Aussie Gridiron Network. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. They call me Matty C, and I'm joined today by Australia's fantasy football analyst extraordinaire. It's Taylor Goodall. How are you, mate?
Matty, here we are again with PETE and KEZ on to make their picks. Let's hope they don't shit the bed and fumble like Dontavian Wicks, who instead of fingers only has dicks. Let's go.
Well, this feels like to me it explains a little bit because I saw the picture that you've come rolling in with tonight and the name that you put up on the Zoom. Can you walk us through that as well?
Well, mate, I couldn't trust you to lead me into it this week after the whole debacle of cock showers. So, mate, I thought I'd just lead in with the rhyme straight into it, and that could just lead into my screen name for the night.
I did drop the ball, and I've been very fast to own that. But, mate, never again. Never again. You'll get nothing but support for me when it comes to your ridiculous rhymes.
I'm still walking around, everyone's calling me cock. I don't know if that's got anything to do with the podcast or if I've just been a cock to everyone, but it still works.
I think it was after what we discovered about you and Matt Stafford last week, how you discovered he has 2 of them. I think that's sort of helped.
Mate, Matt Stafford, fucking what a value. But we'll leave it last. That's the quarterback show, mate.
I reckon you can probably get the Matt Stafford has 2 shirt in the merch store too. The merch store was not very happy about me having the word Cox blazing across the shirt, so I've had to amend that one a little bit. But we got it on there. Mate, actually, we've found a bit of an explosion in stuff from the merch store in the last couple of weeks too, between some of the fun media stuff that we put up around, NFL fantasy times, NFL console stuff, or movies or TV shows. We've been having a blast with that. And some of the fellas we're going to talk to tonight, actually, great resources for that too. But mate, it's July, and we kicked it off right, didn't we, Tay? We had great captain for the Centurions Gridiron team, TALOR and with us last week. He helped us navigate the spectrum of quarterbacks for fantasy in 2025. And I don't think it's too much to say today. I think he did a pretty fine job for a guy who hasn't been a podcast for a very long time.
No, he did great, mate. And it was good having him on for the quarterback-specific show because he had some very different takes to you and I about taking quarterbacks. He was talking about sort of stashing a second one in the middle to late rounds and hoping that guy breaks out because then all of a sudden he could trade either his starter or that guy he got later. Like he brought up, obviously, drafting Jaden Daniels behind Lamar. And then he was actually able to package Lamar because he was so confident in Daniels in the second half of the year to actually get a bit of a haul. So that's actually something very different that you and I have never really talked about. So it was really, really cool to have him on and obviously to talk about his background in the ACT Gridiron. It was awesome to have him on, mate. And it's just so good to have different voices on again this year. We've got so many just coming in the preseason alone.
We're so lucky. We're going to have 5 totally new voices through the show before the preseason's done, and that is still today, plus 6 more weeks of shows to go there. We also then ran a mock draft with Tyler too, who he says he does mock draft and he goes through the process too of sort of learning from it and sort of using it as an opportunity to not just walk away going, well, I love my team or I hate my team, but go, well, why do I hate my team? Or what could I have changed? And it was good to go through that process with him in the chat after the draft last week. And it was good too, because I think between he and I, toward the end there, we actually got to chatter about some of the things we'd learned from each other. And that's one thing I love about this is that I've been playing fantasy football for more than 15 years. Then I talk to a guy I do a mock draft with who I haven't spent time doing a mock draft with, and I walk away with some new knowledge. And then he says he can do the same. And I think that's the value of a show like that.
No, 100% agree, mate. That's the whole point of getting different voices on. It's, you can hear us talk about the same shit every single week, and you and I are sort of simpatico of the way that we go about drafts sometimes. It's good to get that extra head on and someone that people haven't heard before, coming with different opinions and different ways of going about it. It's the whole point of this, mate. Getting Aussies on here chatting football. Let's fucking go.
Gosh, well, you want to look forward to tonight because you want to talk about Aussie voices. We've got some very Aussie voices today. Plus, we've also got a burst look at running back for 2025, all in the bag. And, mate, I actually think you may have a little bit of a special relationship with either or both of the voices we're going to catch up with tonight.
Yeah, we talked about having 5 new voices, great new opinions. Too bad for tonight. We brought 2 wankers back. So I guess we'll do. I guess it'll do to talk about running backs with these guys. We'll wait and see.
Wait and see, but we will talk to KEZ and Pete in a moment. Stay with us.
G'day, Gridiron.
Anyone that hasn't joined us before, it's pretty simple. Let's kick it off, eh? Is everyone ready?
The 4 horsemen of NFL in Australia.
If the sound ever plays, the picture's officially in.
Nick the lineman.
So it's the worst against any team, and it's also the worst passer rating that he has against any team at 66.3.
Brad the coach.
The Steelers have held the Ravens under 20 points in 7 straight games.
Isaac the analyst.
For this one, I couldn't understand it either. Like, I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Ian the Viking.
Full of passion, full of fight. They might genuinely be interesting to watch again.
Previews, overreactions, and bloody best bets.
If Derrick Henry can get rolling, then I think it's no contest. The Ravens are going to win.
As a fan of the NFL, you hope he comes back because he's just an absolute beast when he gets on there.
That would be able to give, at least Justin Fields a chance to be able to build.
Let's move on after that insanity.
So I just think, though, it's going to stop here.
Defensively for the Bills, I don't think that's actually going to combat what the Chiefs do already.
Yeah, I guarantee Pete would get down on his knees for that.
G'day, Gridiron.
I love spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet man.
I love spreading the legs.
Twice a week, all season long on the Aussie Gridiron Network. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
I'm going to keep the ding counter going. So at home, drink.
I would give that a solid 8.5 out of 10.
And foreskinning, yet another dick joke.
I'm a young, handsome, strawberry blonde boy here.
I don't need a second invitation. I'm there.
Lucky you got a good personality, right?
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
And we're back. This is where it gets great, by the way. We want to bring back into our inner sanctum 2 lads who've been on the show before, as we described. Last year in the preseason, we were really glad to have these fellas actually on back-to-back weeks. But not this year. No, that's not good enough for our audience. We need them both here at the same time. So after joining us for the analysis of running backs last year, we welcome back a bloke who at times has been mistaken for Mikey from Pawn Stars, but we're most likely to mistake him for the better Goodall. It's Kieran Goodall. How are you, mate?
Good, Matty. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. I've copped a lot of shit from Taylor about not being the better Connor out of my brother and I. So I'm just going to give Taylor a little bit of that. And, mate, I've met you before. You're easily the better Goodall.
I would have to agree, yeah. And, Matty, I was very surprised to hear you say before that the shirt with cock on the front got banned from your merch store. It's 2025, mate. Everyone can choose if they want a cock or not.
I mean, look, I'm with you on that. But apparently our overseers at our merch store not as happy with that. Oh, my gosh, they were unimpressed. You got to work hard to get some things past them too. They will not let me put anything on there that resembles anything to do with Tom Brady because the TB12 people were coming after him. You could hear them with the pitchforks, mate. So, yeah, there's some czars behind the scenes who oversee all this, mate. You don't want that job. But, mate, look, welcome back. We haven't had you through since the preseason last year. Mate, you were dropping dimes all over the place. It's good to have you back because we really missed an opportunity, I think, by not having you through the regular season.
No, I'm here to improve on my performance from last year because I think some of my picks were pretty awful. I know it wasn't the running back show. I think my tip of the year was Cooper Kupp, and I think he is now. Is he? If he's not dead, I know he signed a new contract somewhere, but I think he had pretty much dead by the end of the year.
Yeah, he had a rough one. We both went into the season liking a bit of Cooper Kupp too, so I think we share some egg on this one, don't we?
I don't know. I just like how KEZ is already testing the waters to see if he gets cancelled with the woke mob already. But always good to have you on, KEZ. But I believe KEZ basically came on and compared a bunch of running backs to cars last year. So I'm sure we'll be getting absolutely great, fantastic knowledge out of that again. I think Cooper Kupp's shaved his beard this year, though. So that's going to at least lower some wind resistance. And I think he's going to be right for the picking this year. And my dynasty team definitely hopes so.
Mate, I don't know, has he got leprosy or something? Because all of a sudden he's down at wide receiver 40. He's having a battle. But mate, hopefully, again, this year we're doing running backs and Cooper Kupp. We'll let somebody else worry about the Cooper Kupp analysis. What do you reckon, KEZ? We'll let you off with that one.
Fair enough.
Also joining us, many will remember from appearances to talk a lot about wide receivers last year in the preseason too, and had jaunts in the regular season where he had a crack at the starts episode, but also gave us a little ambush for Kev, the Bears fan, from a place of being a Packers fan, just kind of parachuted into the podcast and pretty much told Kev to eat a bag of fucking bear dicks, I think that was the quote. No Lyme disease this time, but plenty of Green Bay disease. It's Pete Neal. Welcome back, mate.
Ahoy, hoy. Hey, how are we doing? All is well your way, Matty?
Mate, doing all right. It's good to have you back. Clearly, Taylor and I both suffered inferiority complexes after listening to you go through 5 questions last year. And when we asked you just to name one interesting thing you did at all that an audience would find interesting, and you peeled off about 16 in the first minute. I've been battling with that ever since. I've got mental scars.
Yeah, it's been an interesting life. It has been downhill of lately without the NFL on. So I'm really keen for it to get started. Love being able to start talking. Really thinking and talking heavily about the NFL again and fantasy. So I think the arrow is going to start pointing up anytime now.
We are so excited for this NFL season. Tay and I have been, clearly, Tay, you and I, we talk every day, numerous times a day, about this upcoming NFL season. Pete was just saying the same thing in the green room too. Just like, God, cannot wait. The last time I actually saw you, Pete, I was with you and Tay. We're all together in the same town at the same time. It was a weird experience, Tay.
That was a night and a half. Pete and I have definitely talked about that since, where the night kind of got away from us. It was one of those nights where we'll have a cheeky couple of beers down at the dock, and definitely turned into a bigger night than either of us expected. My bank account was not happy, but it was a very good night. But speaking of NFL, mate, he's talking about arrows pointing up. There's an arrow pointing up in my pants. I cannot wait to even talk about NFL fantasy, but in general, for the NFL to start. And I think just the knowledge that the NFL is coming to Australia next season for an actual regular season game, I think it just makes us all, as Aussies, really pumped for the NFL, but obviously building to that next year.
I mean that, and there's going to be American football at the Olympics, and it won't be NFL, clearly, but the NFL have given players a bit of a green light to go ahead and put themselves forward for consideration for the flag team as well. So there's just a lot of hype around the sport in a way that there hasn't been for a while here in this country. And I mean, we only just saw on the weekend just gone the Australian Outbacks gridiron team taking on a visiting New Zealand team, and again, a stiff end too, got the win up. And our mate from G'day Gridiron, Nick Cosme, part of that winning team as well. Very proud of Nick, and we're pleased to see he and Brad Cummins as well from G'day Gridiron at the game, and getting to catch up afterwards and sharing that wonderful moment. So it's great to see that the sport itself has got a bigger profile now in this country than it has for some time, which then leads to more people hopefully getting to the nerdy bit that we love. That's what brings us together today. But we can't get into the running backs before we put our new guests, say. We did this still last year. We put them through 5 questions, but this year, returning guests get a different taste. There's something a little different about 5 questions for returning guests.
Yeah, obviously, you boys heard were on. Did you actually end up doing the 5 questions, Kez? Because I know you were annoyed that your episode you didn't get to do it, but did we bring you on to actually do it?
Yeah, you definitely did. Is the difference tonight we don't get any notice and we just have to wing it? Is that the difference?
100%. That's the first gift. That's the first part of it. But in the end, I just wanted to make sure, because what happens this year is for any completely new guests, they get the old set of questions. But for anyone that's been on before, we've got a set of 5 brand new questions. And yeah, obviously, for anyone who hasn't listened to the show, they're going to get surprised. So really your fault for not preparing, Kieran. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic. But for anyone listening, we started this last year because we were bringing, obviously, a new person on every single week. We decided that instead of just talking about NFL fantasy, we wanted to get the guests talking just about, just chatting the shit. And so we've done 5 questions from 2 wankers. And this year, for anyone returning, like I mentioned, it's going to be a set of 5 new questions. So looking forward to sink our teeth into this one and seeing what comes out of your guys' mouths.
Your funeral.
You're not wrong.
Another great guest is here. Are they up to the standard?
Busier than a one-legged cat in a sandbox, so I am good.
My boy!
Only one way to find out.
This is what the people come here for.
I've heard everyone's answers about these, and I've had to think about it.
5 questions. 2 dickheads. Loading.
All right, let's start it with just a very topical question that's out there. Not this specific question, but something very similar to this. Would you rather fight 1 Derrick Henry-sized Kyler Murray or 5 Kyler Murray-sized Derrick Henrys? I think we said 10 initially, but let's change it to 5.
Just before we start, a trader's come in. Kieran has traded me all 5 questions for this year, for 4 2026 questions. Trader's been declined. Sorry, Kizza, you got to answer this question.
Smash accept.
I'm gonna go for the one Derrick Henry size Kyler Murray. Is that what it was? That's what it was, right? Yeah. I'm not agile enough to fight 5 people at once. I need
Have you got children? Because I mean, they're not bigger than that.
Yeah, but my kids can fuck me up. So Kyler Murray's bigger than my kids, so I think 5 of them would destroy me. I think at least with one, I don't know, I can get a nut punch in or something. I don't know. Quite dirty.
Yeah, I'm definitely agreeing. I'm definitely agreeing with the kids there. My rationale is that Kyler Murray's just a dumb shit. I think Derrick Henry's got a better brain than him, and he's a lot smarter. So imagine 5, smarter, Kyler Murray sizes. Kyler Murray's not that much smaller than me as well. So Kyler Murray, dumb shit. Give me one of them. You can dance, or you can distract him.
You say a nut punch, but I assume Derrick Henry's got 6 cocks and 12 testes. I reckon it's going to be impossible to stop that guy.
Ringing the Big Ben bell.
5 of those cocks would be in your mouth, though, Taylor. So that'd really be distracting him. So you'll be right.
We'll give it a lot of respect to the short kings here. All right, so we've got both locked in for the one Derrick Henry size Kyler Murray. Okay. All right. Which player in fantasy, Pete, have you avoided drafting because you don't buy their hype?
Mate, this goes on from question 1. It's Kyler Murray. Mate, seriously, I laughed when Taylor said that he was going to be his breakout from last year. Had a good laugh at that because I knew it wasn't going to happen. He did okay, but come on. He's had a couple of okay seasons, but they just happen to be the first 2 seasons of his career. And ever since then, he's either injured or just dog shit or both. Never really liked him. Everyone just rates on about his rushing abilities. He does have that, but unless he's on song every single game, which he just never is. I dance around Kyler Murray all the time.
Taylor thought he was going to be so good last year, he was going to be whale shit. So, this is the thing. When he's dog shit, that's not as good as whale shit, right, Tate?
Absolutely. To be fair, I took my L right in the face last week on the quarterback show. I brought him up and said definitely didn't work out. He's definitely at a more draftable spot this year in terms of being ranked, I don't know, anywhere between 10 and 12 if you want to take a lake shot. But yeah, I think those dreams of him being top 5 have definitely died. I will say that I kind of ended up in a spot where I was lucky enough not to really draft him that much last year, even though I called for him to break out. It just worked out that I didn't really end up with much of him anyway. So at least I didn't actually take some of my own poison, which is good.
Smart. Hey, Kieran, who have you over time avoided drafting because you just have never bought their hype?
Just any Steelers players. As a Steelers fan, it was a couple of years ago, one of our leagues, I drafted 4 Steelers, and it was the worst. I got last. I think I won 1 game that year or 2 games that year. It was fucking disgraceful. So I would say any current Steelers players, but I would also reverse it if they leave teams like Najee this year. I'll be all over because as soon as they get out of there, they become offensive juggernauts.
Oh, I love hearing that. I've staked a flag on Najee. So Kieran, you and I, mind meld.
Najee, I'd say take George Pickens off me.
Pickens, I don't know about Pickens.
No, Taylor loves Pickens too. So here we go. You're singing our song. We didn't realise we were all going to be chirping along to the gospel according to Kieran, but here we are. That's how this show has gone. We're only 2 questions in, Tay. What's happening?
It's funny how Kez brings that up because remember last week I brought up how much I'm into the ex-Titans players. I feel like I jumped AJ Brown everywhere I can. And then obviously last year with Derrick Henry, I couldn't have talked about it anymore if I tried leaving the Titans because people think, are you going to be disgruntled when, a guy that's played for your team leaves or whatever? And I'm like, no, it's the complete opposite. I feel like this guy's finally been freed from my shithouse team. It's just like a load off for both of them. So, yeah, it's funny how that works. All right, this is back to a bit of an NFL fantasy specific question. You might even answer each other here. Who would be your biggest NFL fantasy rival in your leagues?
He's not so much a rival, but I can never beat him, and that's our good mate Dino. We've been playing for a while now, and I reckon I think I might have been maybe once, but I seriously can't recall. He beats me every single time, so it's just good to get one past him. He's just for some reason, it's kind of like when the Dragons come down to Canberra in the 2000s. Never win. It's me against Dino. The people I love to beat, though, are you two. Taylor, I love to beat you because you're really good at fantasy football, and I love to beat Kez because he's a piece of shit. And it's just good to beat Kez.
What an answer.
Who do you circle on the fucking schedule and just want to taste a piece of their flesh?
Anyone with the last name Jones, so that's locked like half our league. So just anyone with Jones, I like to beat. I'll just leave it at that.
Benny Jones was so great last year. Just everything had to do with an ass or a dick or butt-flavored. He brought up the term butt-flavored people, which was one of my very favourite moments of last year's entire show run, by the way.
The Joneses are very well known around our parts for not answering a trade request ever. Basically, you put a trade offer into them in your Dynasty League and you hear from them. Basically, don't put a time expiry on any of those offers because they're going to fucking run out. So if you've got a good solid month or two and it's a wait, then you might put an offer out. If not, you never hear them from them.
This one's actually really very digital, and really it's kind of a either or. But Kieran, would you prefer to have to make every roster decision for this coming year by tossing a coin first, or would you prefer to have your mother make all those decisions?
I tossed the coin already. It's fucking, what's the difference?
That's the proven good old method.
If I got my mum to make the decisions, we'd all be getting fucking fake friend requests from fucking Temu or something. Yeah. You'd be pressing all the wrong buttons.
China's going to be hacking our teams.
She knows she clicks too many buttons on the internet.
I think it was 1 trillion to 1 that Temu didn't come up as soon as Mum was answering the question.
Pete, how do you go with this? Would you rather just leave it up to fate, or would you do you want to get old Mama Neil in there?
No, I actually give my mum some credit, and I'll tell you why. Mum, this is a short story. Mum has never ever, I kid you not, has never watched a game of NRL in her life, not more than 5 minutes. And about 12 years ago, our family decided to do a tipping comp, and guess who won 2 of the first 3 years? It was Mum. Just picked out of her ass, and she won. So I think Mum could somehow, I don't know, somehow do it for me.
You see, one of these people is like, well, a tiger would beat a rooster in a fight, so I'm going to take the tigers. And but I like purple more than red, so the Storm will win. What's the science?
I think she had someone on the Daily Telegraph, and then she picked old mate from that.
Okay, well, yeah, she's relying on someone in the Daily Telegraph, and she's probably getting the only bit of that newspaper that's worth reading, so very good.
At least Mama Neil could beat Dano, for sure. She'd fucking smoke him.
Oh, absolutely. Fucking Dano.
All right, straight into this one, and I know Pete Neal's probably been prepping for this. You heard it. We can just get out of his way. The rest of the podcast is probably going to be up to him. But basically in this one, boys, I'm asking for any character from any sports movie that you would put into your NFL fantasy team.
Kieran's just trying to work out if National Treasure's a sports movie.
I was just Googling Nick Cage sports movies.
Was it
Kenyon Drake been in a movie?
Benjamin Franklin.
You go, Pete. I'm trying to stall, mate. I'm trying to stall to see if Nick. Oh, yeah, he's in The Surfer. That's the new one he's in.
Yeah, there you go.
What's his name in that? I don't know.
It's on Prime right now.
Nick Cage.
Gone in 60 seconds, stealing cars. That's good enough.
Oh yeah, there you go. You can kind of
yeah. No, that'll do. I'll take it.
You both go Nicolas Cage. What's the matter with you guys?
Memphis Reigns.
Nicolas Cage.
Now, Matty, for me, if you don't mind, I've actually gone. I've gone a little bit over the top for this one.
Yeah,
I've got the entire NFL offense lineup. If you want to hear that.
All right, here we go.
Oh, all right, please.
How did you get pre-warned about this question? I didn't get any pre-warning.
Listen to the podcast. Listen to the podcast, Kieran.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Bit of support, Kieran.
Come on, mate. Fig, this is your brother we're talking about here.
Boy, doesn't listen.
All right, so the offensive line. Here we go. So basically, the entire cast from the longest yard. So we've got Terry Crews as Cheeseburger Eddie as my tackle.
Nice.
The other tackle is the guard played by Kevin Nash. Guard Englehart. Hopefully, he's got all that estrogen out of his system, and he can lace up for me well. Now the center, Billy Goldberg, who played Joey Battle. So he's very nimble, Bill Goldberg, but he's a huge specimen, absolute weapon. So he's going to be my center. Dilip Singh, or the Great Khali, if you will, who played Truly, and he's about 7 foot tall and he's about 7 foot wide. He's an absolute freak. And I had to go to another movie for my other guard, which is Mr. Larson from Happy Gilmore. I think you all know Mr. Larson. Yes, an absolute specimen, huge fella. That's he sure is.
Nail.
You forget your name.
That's hit it off Frankenstein's fat foot.
So I'll tell you right now, what defensive line is going through them? Absolutely no one. All right, now onto the wide receivers. We've got Wesley Snipes from Major League as Willie Mays Hayes because he's just so goddamn quick, and we know he can catch a baseball, so I'm pretty sure he can catch an NFL football quite well. We got, I'm not sure if you guys know this one, but Charles Getungo Man, who played the basketball from The Air Up There. Remember that one with Kevin Bacon? So he's about 7 foot tall, and he can jump 1,000 feet in the air, and he can catch as well because we know he can catch a basketball. My running back is going to be Malik Yoba, who played Yul Brenner from Cool Runnings. He can run 100 meters in 10 seconds flat, and he's tough as nails, and he will just run through those fuckers, and then his speed will just take him to the goal line. He's basically Devon ACHANE. If he was injected with that serum that Captain America was injected with. My tight end is going to be Jamal Duff, who played Michelle from Dodgeball, because he's an absolute weapon, and he's a specimen. He's a very good athlete as well. So he's going to be my tight end. He's going to be more of a blocking tight end, but I think he will stay on the field and get you a lot of short catches. And now onto the quarterback, Henry Rowan-Gardner from Rookie of the Year. But he has to make sure those tendons are tight so we can throw the ball 100 yards. And he'll be throwing them to Wesley Snipes, Willie Mays Hayes all day. And just to round it up, I've got two more. Just to round up, sorry. All those players have got the same agent, who's Jerry Maguire, and the offensive coach is Mikey McDermott from Rounders. Now that, I dare anyone to beat that team.
Did we expect anyone to be coming with the player agent when we wrote this question?
I just want to point out there is a sports movie about to come out called Madden.
Oh, yeah, well done.
Nicolas Cage plays John Madden.
Google images of that too. He looks hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
I don't care if he's the old John Madden, he's still John Madden. So that is the answer.
That man will take any role.
Oh my God. So the social media for this question, the social media for this question is going to be off tap next when we start posting for this. Oh my God!
A bit of trivia. Nicolas Cage wanted to play Michael Vick, but they had to turn that one down, unfortunately. So yeah, see now he has to be Madden. The man's got some scope.
Well, I was expecting to end up at Michael Vick with Nicolas Cage at the end there. What?
Full Tropic Thunder.
This segment has it never ceases to amaze, Tay.
This is off the rails. This is pretty much what I expected.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Tay, have you told Quinny anything about this?
No, not even a little bit.
5 questions from 2 dickheads.
6 teams on a bye?
It just made me a bit sad and a bit depressed.
Get your question read live on the show.
You got a quarterback for us, Quinny?
I do. I'm going Kyler Murray.
At Aussie NFL Fantasy on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, the defense isn't the thing that they're leading on this year. They just basically just get road raced.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Fellas, we are here tonight now to talk running back. What I like is a segment like that, it gets the juices flowing, right? It gets you all loose, it gets you out of your head. And now we get to just talk and shoot from the hip and talk about the things that we believe to be true or we know to be true or we think is complete bullshit about running back for this coming season. I was very fortunate to put in front of you guys through the week where Taylor and I land on all our rankings. We've been through and updated them. I even went exhaustingly through and just updated every ranking from each of the 4 major sites that we compare against this week to make sure you guys had the best information to work off. And, mate, even with all of that information and everything that we know about NFL football from ourselves, we've all landed on the fact that we've got Saquon Barkley for Taylor and I as our number 1 running backs. And generally across the board, if you don't agree with that, almost everyone's got Bijan Robinson as number 1. Hey, you disagree with Taylor and I. You've got Bijan at 1. What's the dissenting voice about?
The reason why I've gone Bijan, especially in PPR, it's because if we just see a full season of good Falcons football and good Michael Penix football, what we're going to see from Bijan is just going to be he's going to be the leader of the pack in that group. And I should be saying this because I don't think the Eagles are going to fix what's not broken. So I think they're still going to go to Saquon a shit ton, but just not as much as last year. I don't know. I think it's going to be again. It's one of those gut feel. They just won't. They might pass it a little bit more, and I think we're just going to see that step up from Bijan. So that was the reason why I flipped him. Plus, I got Bijan on my dynasty, so I really want to see him go well.
That's what it always comes down to.
Yeah,
I think having a good personal stake changes things, right? It's difficult at the top here, right? Because we're talking generally about guys who have most of these things ticked, right? Because they can't be here if they don't. Volume, tick. Goal line, tick. Pass catching, tick, right? So those top couple have to have those three. And we think, if you've got to compromise on any part of those three, they probably don't belong in that top tier. Where Jameer Gibbs can struggle a little bit is with the volume, because he does tend to get capped at about 20 touches. But, God, he can do some stuff with that 20 touches, which is, I guess, why people have got so much confidence in him. I reckon seeing him ranked outside the top 5, I've only seen it once. But the next guy on our list is Jameer Gibbs. We think he belongs there. Pete, you went ahead and put someone completely different in the top 3. Do you want to talk a little bit about your third running back? Because he's in the conversation for this area for a reason. Just a lot of people haven't had the nuts to stick him there.
Oh, for me, yeah, number 3 is Derrick Henry. This is so simple. It's it. Until I see him not do it, then I'm just not going to put him there. Full stop. I don't know. Go on to the next player. He's just so fucking good. And again, until he breaks down, until I don't see that, well, then what are we doing? He's the man.
I actually love Pete doing that, because I've looked at these rankings and thought, how do I get Henry up further? I've got him at 4. I'm like, how can I just jam him through there and put him a little bit higher? Because, I mean, we didn't really talk about Lamar because we didn't have to on the quarterback show, right? I learned my lesson from last year. Like, him and Henry can coexist. They can both be amazing together. They aren't going to steal completely from each other, and that offense is going to move because of those two, so they're both going to be amazing. I will say, the reason I actually think there's reason for maybe even more positive touchdown regression for Henry, which is fucking insane to say given how many he had last year, is because Lamar threw for way more touchdowns than he ever has before. Like, it was a complete outlier for him to throw 40 touchdowns. So you could actually say, all right, Lamar's a freak. I'm not saying he all of a sudden just drops off a planet, but what if he throws to 32, 33 this year? Is there a chance there's 7 more rushing touchdowns up for grabs for Derrick Henry this year? Like, it's mind-boggling to believe that there's actually a chance this guy has more on the ground. If he just has the same as last year, then the 3 rank is still fine, because that's about where he finished last year. So I've got no issue with him ranking him up there.
I mean, for you and I say that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got Barkley, Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, Derrick Henry. That's our 4. Hey, Kieran, I've noticed when it comes to the top 4, you've got one guy in there who we haven't brought up yet, and he's not just hanging on the edge of that 4. You've got a bloke at 3 who was the most pass-catching running back of last year. Got to imagine that's got a bit to do with why you put him up there.
All right, about time you cut to me there, Matty. Thank you very much. I've learned from last year. I've come prepared to outline my picks here. So, ACHANE was a track and field star at Texas A&M, posting impressive times in sprint events, which explains his incredible NFL speed. Oh, really? Oh, really? Yeah, thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, AI.
Did the BYD tell you to do that?
Blink twice if you're in trouble.
I've never muted my audio so fast in my life. Oh, my God.
That was amazing, Kieran. Oh, my God. And everything about this is right. Like, he's fast, but he caught 80 passes last year, and that leads all running backs, and you get a point for every single one of them, even if he gets no yards for it. Plus, he gets yardage. And he was picking up more and more of the rushing volume as the year went on. So I definitely love the love for Devon Achane. None of us have had the stones to put him anywhere near 3, and I just kind of love this. What is great about a series like this, where you bring on different voices, you get people who been completely different to what we're doing.
I wasn't going to be caught off guard this year, Matty. I needed to have my facts straight as to why I'm picking this guy, and that's clear why I'm picking at number 3.
In his own words, man.
Yeah, 100%. He's been following around.
I promise I won't use my own words for the rest. I'll use different words for the rest of the podcast. That was just my own words. I really wanted to get that out. It was from the heart.
You didn't even compare him to a car or anything. What's going on?
Well, he's like a BYD.
That's a Ferrari for sure.
What's funny about this is consensus across websites has shifted a lot in the last couple of weeks because of people moving away from that traditional sort of top 3 or 4 that we've been talking about. We like the idea of Barkley, Robinson, Gibbs, and Henry Tate. We are exactly in line. 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. You and I are drinking Kool-Aid. Recently, Austin Genty has taken a jump on a couple of websites. He's now consensus ranked across the majors that we follow at 5.25 value points, which puts him fourth overall, a running back, now ahead of both Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. Mate, the Christian McCaffrey and Ashton Genty thing, we talked about this way back on the rookie show. We haven't gone back to talk about him, and we certainly have had Christian McCaffrey come up a little bit since then. Those two are the next guys kind of in the consensus range. How do you feel about them now, 5 weeks later, 6 weeks later, and why have you got them where you got them?
Like, honestly, things haven't really changed for me. After we sort of chatted about that, and because I've obviously brought up that I like to project health, I just slid CMC just in front of him, just because I think of that upside of CMC is just too great. I see him in drafts at the moment, and I just cannot not take him, because I just think if you're trying to win your league, CMC is the perfect person. Yes, there's a massive chance of injury risk. I get it. But his upside is just far higher than almost everyone else he's getting drafted around. Like, I don't believe Ashton Genty has a ceiling of the top two, of one or two, whereas CMC could lap the field this year if he stays healthy. He's still got that in him. So it's hard for me to look at that and go, I need to put Genty in front of him. But honestly, Genty's just the unknown. It's exciting, I guess. Like, you put him on this team that, to me, has, we've talked about arrows going up. The arrow is definitely going up for this Raiders team. They aren't this horrendously shit offense that they were last year. They obviously Geno isn't, a household name or some amazing quarterback, but compared to what the fuck they were dealing with for the last few years, it's a massive upgrade. Pete Carroll obviously has had his issues with Seahawks near the end of his tenure, but I think him coming in as a massive upgraded coach, I just think in general this team is there and they want to win. And I just think the offense is going to be able to move a lot better than it has in the past. And you bring in this guy who just was an absolute freak at Boise State, and he's going to get all the workload. We talked about Saquon. There aren't that many running back situations where the starter's just getting literally everything, and that's what Genty's going to get. So, look, is the downside him finishing running back 15 because he's inefficient and the offense isn't as good as I'm trying to hope, and he just gets a huge workload and doesn't do a lot with it, but still finishes just running back 15? Sure. But I think he's got the ability to sort of finish at the edge of that top five. And I think he's in for a great year straight away as a rookie, and he's only going to get better year on year out.
The last time we saw a rookie this well positioned to do something as exciting in mock drafts this early on in the season was Zeke Elliott. His situation, I think, was a little bit more favourable than Ashton Genty's. So that's why I've kind of knocked him down a few pegs. We've got Ashton Genty a little behind Christian McCaffrey. But actually, Kieran, you've got Christian McCaffrey further behind Ashton Genty. You've barely got Christian McCaffrey hanging in the top 10. What gives you pause about McCaffrey, mate?
Where did I put him? 9.
9?
I'm quite aware that McCaffrey has bilateral Achilles tendonitis, and that is my concern.
The physio's out.
So he still has.
As a husband of a wife who recently tore her Achilles, I know it's not a pleasant experience. I think the concern will be going through his mind all season, and that will push him down. I believe he's a 9. I don't have any other reason than I think I'm worried about the injury.
There'll be a lot of folks who are nervous about him, and I like that you've got the neck to stick out and go, I'm just fucking out. I'm just out. I love that. You'll probably own no Christian McCaffrey this year, right?
Unless I get him at 9th running back, then I suppose I'm picking him up. But
I was going to bring that up because honestly, if you've got him at 9, his ADP is probably close to 9. So you're actually lower than us, but you might actually just be what consensus is. So you might not even be that low.
ADP
I'd take a risk
puts
on
him
him
about running back 5. He's usually going running back 5, but because of the proliferation of wide receivers at the moment, it means you can get him generally at the start of the second round.
Yeah, 80% up.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is funny too because we're at the stage where we've just seen since quarterback last week too, the market has moved on guys like Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, and I think we're going to continue to see the running back market move in a lot of the ways that we've talked about too. It'll be interesting to see what happens with McCaffrey because people are either very in or they think that the 49ers are going to battle this year and McCaffrey will be ineffective, and it'll just be interesting to see where that lands. So we know the reasons why Kieran's not into Christian McCaffrey, but Pete, you actually may have gone a full savage blow further. What have you done with Christian McCaffrey and why?
It's more just a fuck you to the Niners. I'm sick of the Niners telling me something and then it's the complete opposite. Shanahan's really going to want to get back to the playoffs and he's really going to want to try and get another Super Bowl run. I don't think they're going to put that workload on McCaffrey again. It goes back to my stupid gut feel. But that's why I slid him way down to 14 because I've just got more conviction and more promise than the other guys. So I don't think I'll be having much McCaffrey this year.
Yeah, well, unless, as Kieran says, he falls to your running back number 14 in draft. It sounds like you might not be getting any of him.
Yeah.
And look, this is kind of the exercise, right? Is what's the likelihood McCaffrey falls to 14 in someone's draft? It may happen in someone's, but the likelihood's low. So in that respect, we generally tend to say, hey, I won't be owning any of him. Hey, Tay, we've got Kyron Williams at 7. We're pretty hot on him. Some people might say that's a bit irrational, but look, Pete's close. He's got him at 9. Mate, can you just quickly give us the Kyron song again? Because I want to go to the better griddle and find out why he doesn't agree.
Some people don't have him as high. You're talking about Mr. Bear Dick, Kev himself. I've definitely heard a lot of shit about Kyron this entire preseason, which I don't think you and Matty and myself have really, really enjoyed that. There's definitely been a water bet between myself and Bear Dick. But look, in the end, I just think, again, I brought up guys that just have a complete workload, and I just don't see it going away. And this Rams team, I've already brought up the two Cox last week in the wide receiver position with Puka and Devontae. Like, you could probably add a third Cock in there with Kyron. I just think they're going to move the ball so well, and this offensive line is ranked 15th, so it's not amazing, but it's definitely just on the better side. It's not obviously a detriment to the team. I think he's going to be able to run well. You can make the argument that he wasn't amazingly efficient last year, but the fact is, when you're getting this much volume, your efficiency numbers are always going to go down, and I just don't see a reason why they're all of a sudden going to go away from him. It's hit the last year of his contract. I don't see why the Rams wouldn't kind of run him into the ground, to be honest, because I wouldn't be surprised if they don't want to give him a huge amount of money and he either goes elsewhere or he plays for a little bit less than probably what people are thinking. So for redraft this year, I just don't see how he isn't given a huge workload like the other guys I've brought up, like a Derrick Henry or a Genty or something like that. But I really am high on the Rams offense. I think they're going to be in the Rams got a shitload this year. I think they're going to be winning games. I think they're a team that's going to be on the rise from what they did last year. And like I said, I think Matt Stafford's just going to love having those 3 Cocks around him, and they're just going to be able to move the ball, and Kyron's going to be a huge part of it.
I have to update that shirt. Matt Stafford's got 3. But hey, the better Goodall here, who doesn't have dicks for analysis brain, reckons that Kyron Williams better off outside the top 10. What's leading you there, Kieran?
I was concerned about the fumbles, pretty much. He fumbled a shitload last year, right?
Yeah,
that's what my concern is. They've got a couple other running backs. Was it Corum and Hunter? That's another concern. I think it might turn to them if he has a couple of fumbles early. So I think it's a bit of a risk. That's why I had him a bit lower.
Yeah, and completely fair enough. I think there's also that argument out there, and I've seen this on put Kyron on your list of people not to draft because people are like, that workload's unrepeatable. And yeah, look at the fumbles and look at his inefficiency. And I think, to Taylor's point, we're like, well, McVay really hasn't shown he's ever gone to committees and he hasn't ever sort of looked to run away from a guy who's not hurt. But there are warning signs. So I think I wouldn't look at somebody who's got Kyron lower and go, you're a fucking idiot. But what I would sort of look at is go, okay, well, you got your stance on him, I've got mine, and we'll end up with varying amounts of Kyron Williams. And if he works out, I'll be happy. And if not, then I'll be sad and someone else will be happy. But these next couple of guys, I'm super interested in these because Josh Jacobs and Chase Brown, they sort of land pretty close to each other every website. It turns out people not to, there's not a lot to pick between these two across the big websites. What I like about it, though, is that Josh Jacobs is kind of a known quantity. Not a lot we expect to change in that offense. They've got a nice new receiver. They've finally gone and spent a first-round pick on a piece of offense in Green Bay. So, Pete, you'd be pretty happy about that. Tell us what you think about Josh Jacobs. We've got him just inside our top 10s. Where have you got him?
Yeah, I've got him just inside too. He sits at number 8. Yeah, in number 8. So, as we all know, this is going to be the Jordan Love MVP year because he's gonna step up.
Mate, one of the Jordan Love MVP years, right?
Absolutely. If you've got any,
Kev agrees. Kev has to agree with that too, surely.
Yeah.
Well, Kev's the one who gave me that hot tip. He's like, "Oh, make sure you get on Jordan Love MVP, super bet odds." He gave me everything. I'm like, "Oh, that's fickle." Thank you, Kev. Mate, I got him at 8, which I think when he finishes last year, like 5 or 6, Josh Jacobs. So he's really, really, really good. But I think Jordan Love's I think that whole team is going to frustrate a lot of fantasy managers out there, including Josh Jacobs, because Jordan Love's just throw a little bit more. He's going to be more mobile. He was injured for most weeks last year. So I think a lot of those, I don't know, I think a lot of those touches might go to some of those beautiful new wide receivers that we've got in Golden as well. So mate, I didn't put him down so much because I really love Jacobs, but yeah, I think he'll still finish in that top 10.
Well, you might think you're pretty hot on him because you and I have him at 8. Taylor's got him at 10. But can I tell you somebody in this room even hotter on Josh Jacobs than you? Because you got him at 5. 5!
Yeah.
Please sing me this song. What am I missing? Why is he so hot right now?
I'm just a big fan of alliterated names. Josh Jacobs, JJ. I don't know. Just it gets me. That's my analysis.
It's like Pittsburgh Pirates. Love them, Pittsburgh Pirates. They don't even have to be good. Just love them.
Pittsburgh Penguins, baby.
Penguins. Throw them in there.
Oh.
Cleveland Cavaliers, get on it. One thing that we saw, Tay, about Josh Jacobs is that he had a pretty high touchdown to carry rate last year. We were a little concerned that maybe that might digress a little bit and come back to a mean, but we liked volume. And for me, that's why I had such confidence in him. How far do you think that touchdown rate could run away from him? You're the lowest on it, him of us at 10.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. And like you and I have talked about why we think there's reason to believe that Jordan Love will actually have a better season in fantasy that people are projecting at the moment. We sort of have him on the edge of our top 10 in quarterbacks, whereas he's going somewhere between 15 and 17 in drafts. But I think the reason is because Josh Jacobs had such a high rate of touchdowns in the red zone, and it just took all those touchdowns away from Jordan Love. Like I brought up Detroit last year, how Jared Goff was still able to have a good year because they were scoring like 7 touchdowns a game. It didn't matter if Monty and Gibbs took 4 touchdowns away. There was still another 3 somehow for fucking Goff to score. Whereas last year, if Josh Jacobs had 2, it basically left a half or a 1 at best for Jordan Love to actually score. And so Jordan Love would have this situation where he'd have a decent real NFL game, but it wouldn't always translate to fantasy. So I think there's reason for positive regression for him. So that in turn obviously would hurt Jacobs, but you also brought up the fact he just has awesome volume. There isn't really, like, Lloyd isn't exactly knocking down the door to take over from him. So I just think Josh Jacobs, I'm giving him that bump to the top 10 because of volume, but I am worried about a bit of a lower touchdown year for him. So I'm just got him sitting right on the edge of the 10 there, but it means I probably won't have a lot of him because he does have an ADP ahead of that. But it's definitely not me hating on him. It's just I think there is some I guess regression coming for him in the touchdown side.
Yeah, and look, I think it's going to be one where you either believe or you don't, and people will be a little higher on him or a little lower than him. But his range seems about right. That's around that edge of that top 10, and that seems to be something that everyone can kind of agree on loosely. The next player who rounds out really what we would consider to be sort of our top 10 of players, and then there's guys who, you know, depending on your flavour, might also burrow their way in there. And we've talked about guys who might just fall outside, depending on what your flavour is too, is Chase Brown. There's going to be opportunities to touch the ball, right? They're getting off. Their offense is going to need to score, right?
They have found the secret sauce to fantasy success, the Bengals. It's just have the shittest defense ever, put all these awesome offensive pieces around Joe Burrow, and just let them cook, basically. It's honestly the way that the Bengals are doing things. It doesn't always work out for them in real NFL because they're obviously given up a shitload of points. But for fantasy, it's an absolute goldmine. And Chase Brown's a funny one, right? He kind of goes against the mold for me in terms of guys that I like to take on and put at a higher ADP than they're actually going, because normally I look for good offensive lines. There's a shithouse. This is ranked second last in PFF. I look for, basically in terms of defenses, I generally look for the better defenses for running backs, because if they're in front in the second half of games, then they can actually run the ball a bit more. Whereas sometimes when you're in shootouts, it doesn't always mean it's good for the running back. It actually, obviously for Chase Brown, it probably is because he's a pass catcher, but normally for a running back, you're actually looking for a team that leads and runs the ball in the second half, whereas they sometimes are down by 17 and actually passing a shitload. So it's actually not normally the greatest thing for a running back. But because Chase Brown, like I just brought up, is so good in the passing game, it doesn't really matter. And then all of a sudden, because they're trying to score so fast, there are so many red zone opportunities for this team that he either catches one and brings it in. They throw the defense off by letting Chase Brown run between the tackles and get one. It's fantasy goldmine for this team, and I just think they're starting running back. And we brought up Zach Moss kind of sharing touches with him last year. I think that's over. I think Zach Moss has been purely a backup for him this year, and that's just how they basically brought back Moss because he was cheap and he knew the offense. So I just think Brown's going to get a very good workload for a team that's going to score an absolute fuckload of points. And so I've got him at 8 because I just think the opportunity is high for him. He's got a high ceiling.
Oh, Tate took all the words out of my mouth. I think the Bengals, they now know what they have with Chase Brown. So now that they know it, they're going to fucking use it. And it's going to be him, it's going to be Higgins, it's going to be Chase, just doing their thing, one play after another. And as Tate said, he's such a good pass catcher. It doesn't matter what the score is. If they're down by 14, if they're up by 14, he's going to be there. He's going to be open. They're just going to use him. So, yeah, that's why I have him at 7. I really like Chase Brown.
Well, now, Kieran, you and I are a little bit more tempered. We got him at 11 each, and so we're just kind of on the lower end of the analysts here tonight. What's the story there?
What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong here? I'll tell you what, Zach Moss, that is what could possibly go wrong, okay? Zach Moss is there. He is going to be awesome. I swear, last year when he was playing, before he got injured, he was good. So that's what could possibly go wrong.
100%. And I think there's a real strategy. We're talking about like the mid-range handcuff. Chase Brown probably is a little better than that in terms of where he ranks into like for value as a player. But if you can get Zach Moss, well, God, you probably take him as your last round pick in a standard 10-10 league, and people wouldn't go ooh. And if anything ever happened to Brown, oh my God. The other two players, and I want to stay with you here, Kev, because there are two players, one that you've got and one that Pete's got, who are outside of Taylor and I, our top 10, who we've been all the whole way down now. You've each got one who sails into your top 10s that we haven't got, and you've got Bucky Irving in your top 10. Tell me what you like about Bucky Irving.
I like to buck the trend with Bucky Irving, and I know Taylor hates him, so that's why I want to go against Taylor, basically.
How do I hate him?
Because you do, Taylor.
I remember you saying that basically I'll be getting rid of him in every league. I remember you saying that somewhere. Did I hear that wrong?
I didn't think you listened to the podcast anyway. So
I think Taylor was talking about Zach Moss, Kizza.
No, I think he's all right. I've definitely brought up that I don't think I'll have him in many leagues because I'm lower than ADP on him. Like I just feel like he's basically getting drafted at his ceiling, so it's hard for me to have him.
I believe your words were, White hasn't disappeared.
Nah, well that's true. I stick by that.
There are a lot of people in the Tampa Bay organisation who have seen Rashad White recently. That is true. The reports are that he exists.
He's still there.
Adam Schefter.
I think losing Wirfs in the offensive line is actually something that's probably not getting talked about enough either. They are still going to have a good offensive line, and Bucky Irving is still going to be the starter, and he's going to have a very good season. It's just, I don't know, I'm worried about his ceiling. I just think he's getting drafted around that like running back 8-7 range. Like everyone's got Bucky fever at the moment, and it just worries me. I just don't know where I'm going to get any value out of him because he has to basically finish in the top 5 to give you good value of return on investment. So
I'm keen to draft him pretty high, but I will have a bit of White guilt.
That's so good.
He took a while to get going, but his puns are just...
He's running full speed now. But you have him at 7, which is high compared to where Taylor and I have him. Taylor and I, we do hate him by comparison. Across the major sites, consensus is that he is valued at about 8th running back, and Taylor and I have him at 12 and 14, respectively. The only person on earth I know who's higher than you, in fact, Kieran, is Pete Neal. And what do you know? We've got him on the show. Pete, why do you have Bucky Irving at running back 5?
I've got your back, Kizza. I've got your back. He very, very similar to Chase Brown, but better. The Buccaneers, they know what they have with Bucky Irving, and they're going to use the absolute piss out of it. Baker in the throwing game, is it going to be as good as last year? No chance. I'm not sure what's going on with Godwin. Everyone thinks he's going to be back. He's going to be fine. I don't think so. I think they're going to be utilising Bucky probably a bit more than last year. They saw what they had in the second half, and he's just going to go nuclear. I really like Bucky Irving. I might have to send KEZ another shitty trade offer for him this week.
Better than your last one.
No counter. So upset. Anyway,
I got a better offer from Chris Jones, and that's saying something, mate.
Maybe you got to throw Zach Moss in there. Maybe I got to find him and throw him in there. That's a bit of a sweetener. No, I'm with KEZ. I really like Bucky, and I think we're gonna see much of the same in that second half of last year from him. He's just so good. Yeah, go the Buck.
Get bucked.
Get bucked. And I mean, how great is it? There's a guy named Bucky playing for the Buccaneers. I mean, I can't imagine that Kieran doesn't just love the shit out of that.
I'm pretty sure Kieran drafted him in Dynasty because he thought he was Kyrie Irving's cousin or something.
Yeah.
He drafted him.
Might be. Has anyone verified this? I mean, it could be true.
Yeah, I think he is, isn't he?
Yes.
He also drafted him because he wanted an Asian in his team.
That's amazing.
That's true. That is true. That is true. Yeah. I can't even deny that.
Both of those picks were amazing, by the way.
I'm all about multiculturalism, guys. What can I say? I'm trying to change the world one pick at a time.
One pick at a time. I mean, I can't deny.
There's a joke.
Strategy.
I was just going to say that. I'm not going to say it, Taylor. You can say it. I'm not going to say it.
It was actually even too far for this show, I think.
Oh, it's just teed up, ready to be slammed out of the ballpark. But no, I'll let that go through the keeper.
I also drafted Tank Bigsby and gave him away to Ukraine because they needed him.
There's a lot of places that can use to take Bigsby right now because at least he's alive. I don't know what happened to Tank Dell, but that's Tank.
Maybe it was Tank Dell. Maybe it was Tank Dell.
Oh, go well.
Yeah.
Explains what happened to Tank Dell then if he went to the Ukraine. Things have not been going well. So there you go. We've been through Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, Derrick Henry. Others also associated guys like Christian McCaffrey, Ashton Genty, Kyron Williams, Devon ACHANE, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, and now we've also covered Bucky Irving. Come back for the Sunday show. We're going to pick it up from the captain, James Cook, and we're going to continue to talk more running backs. Fellas, can I rely on both you, Pete, and you, Kieran, to come back and join us on Sunday? Or have you just had a gut full of Taylor? Because, I mean, that happens. It's understandable.
No, I'm contractually obligated, I think.
You have signed a contract. What the fuck is your brother making you do?
I don't know. I think I lost it to him in a bet a long time ago.
That's probably likely. Pete, you're just coming back because you are a 6'8" individual who loves this shit, right?
Absolutely, mate. No contract signed. I'll be back no matter what. And I think, KEZ, you might have broken a few terms and conditions of that contract today, mate. I must say, I hope you timestamped a lot of this podcast there, mate. But
I've got till Sunday to review this fucking contract. That's what I've got. So I'm going to look forward to that. Say, mate, I know you're contractually obligated to come back, but I also feel like you're going to do it because you like it.
This was a very mossy episode. Let's get the buck out of here.
That's
I couldn't say it any worse, and I love that. For the Aussie Gridiron Network, make sure you catch G'day Gridiron back this week with the show tomorrow right here on the Aussie Gridiron Network feed. You can find us on Sunday, and while you're at it, go and get yourself into the merch store and find yourself, I don't know, like the Walking Dead Zone running back T-shirt that's gone up there because we're about to talk about the running back dead zone on Sunday's show. Fellas, thank you so much. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you on Sunday. Hooroo!
Go Pack, go.
Bye.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network, Australia's home for NFL and Australian gridiron content. Discover everything the network has to offer, including G'day Gridiron, Pastry Press, NFL, and Aussie Gridiron Today. Buy merch and win free stuff. Visit the mothership at Linktree /Aussie Gridiron Network. Hooroo!